Good day, everyone. Hope you're all in good spirits today because right now we will be learning more about the components of structural ecological frame of reference. So, what is a frame of reference? A frame of reference can be considered as a system or a model. It is a set of complicated assumptions and attitudes used to filter perception to produce meaning. And the structural frame focuses on the architecture of the organization. Now, this is used to gather the data and to find probable solution for an existing problem, a scientific framework that involves on the basis of information that determines the solution. Now, what is the importance of the social ecological system? The concept of socio-ecological systems was developed to have both promising scientific benefits and implications for sustainable development issues. So, like I stated, the system is developed to find reliable information, benefits, and probable solutions and effects towards an issue. So here we have a rural social ecological model, and this is what we shall focus on learning today. So here we can see that there are three main components. We have the society, the environment, and the economy, and it also has subsystems or smaller components found within them. And then we have a supporting component or an independent component, which is the government. Now let's move on to the subsystems or the main components that are found in the social ecological frame of reference that we are using. So the first component that we have here is the environment, and it is anywhere that has a presence of land and water, and it is habitable by most living organisms such as humans, plants, and animals. It is also a natural area which can be whole or in a specific geographical location that is heavily influenced by human activities. So the environment plays a big role since it is where we reside, which also gives us access to basic needs such as food and water. And like most things, the environment changes based on our behavior or our action, whether they are good or bad. So below are the smaller components that can be found in the environment. So we have the biological diversity, and this refers to the diversity of life and Earth at all levels, from genes to ecosystems, and can include the evolutionary, ecological, and cultural measures to keep life going. So this tackles more on the different living organisms who are also occupying the same environment that we use or live. Not only that, but it also tackles on the survival instincts or the way of how these living organisms live and work. Next is the spatial heterogeneity, and it refers to an area's uneven distribution of different species concentrations. So this deals with the unequal balance of species within an area. This regards more on the quantity of the species and how they operate with and against each other. And the third and last smaller component is the spatial complexity. This is the state or quality of a landscape or surface or which the terrain is complex. So spatial complexity deals with the quality or the state of the environment, whether it is truly habitable or not. Not only that, but it's also about how species influence the dynamics of the ecological state of the environment. The next main component is the society. It is defined as a group of people living as a community or an organized group of people for a common purpose. It is also about a group of people involved in lasting social gatherings and interactions, or a large social group that has the same spatial or social territory. And then we have the smaller components, or the smaller factors that can be found in society. The first one is the farmers, and these are the people in the rural community who work in agriculture and in breeding livestock for food and raw materials. So farmers are those who work in the fields, tending crops and sheltering their livestock. They are solely responsible for the production of natural resources, such as wheat, vegetables, meat, and etc. Second component, or smaller component, is the inhabitants, and these are the people who are not involved in any agricultural activities, but still reside in rural areas. These are the people who live in the same society as the farmers, but have different working conditions than them. They don't work in any agricultural background, but they pertain to other services such as trading, marketing, and other things. The third component is the visitors, and these are also tourists who visit the rural areas that they have or have not visited. Visitors are people who don't reside on the same rural community or area, but are merely on tour to see the wonders of rural life. The fourth and last small component is the civil associations. These are a wide variety of organizations that have the power to influence the actions of elected policymakers and businesses. These organizations help in improving the development of rural life by their actions. These are present in the society as it is heavily influencing the development of life due to their actions and planning. Examples of organizations are churches and NGOs. The third component that we have is the economy. And rural economies have great potential to create decent and productive jobs and contribute to sustainable rural development and economic growth. It is not only the consumption of goods and services by various parties, but also the fields of production, distribution, and trade. Here we have the smaller components that can be found in the economy. The first being the agricultural land use. This is the land used for the purpose of agriculture, quite common use for farmers to create natural products for money. Simply, this is the land that farmers use for the production of crops and other natural products. This land helps farmers by providing them with quality soil and healthy living conditions for the livestock. Second is the forestry, and this contributes to the rural economy by directly transforming biological and other inputs into a range of outputs as users of land and resources. Forestry, in a simple definition, help in turning natural resources into possible outputs or crafts. An example is that the trees that we find can provide us with wood, which is then used for construction or for other marketing reasons. So the third and last component that can be found in the economy is or are the tourism and services. And this is the activity for tourists to experience firsthand the wonders of agriculture and nature in rural areas. Services help them in experiencing farming and non-farming activities. So tourism is a good way of making profit in exchange for experiencing the first-hand wonders of the natural and agricultural aspects of the rural areas. This is where they get to experience farming and non-farming activities, sightseeing the natural beauty, and other tour-related activities. And among these three components, we have here the government. So government is a system for managing or deciding what to do in a state or community. And it is a system or a group of people who are in charge of improving or changing the status quo. So this organization is responsible for the legal system in a community. They have power in changing the political or the economical states of the society. So I have here an example of a local government found in India, which is the Panchayati Raj, and it is a system of local autonomy in rural Indian villages. It is also a political system that originated in the Indian subcontinent and is found mainly in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. Here is the social ecological frame of reference that we have seen earlier, and we can see that there are arrows that are pointing towards each other. So now we will learn more about the relationships between these components and how they affect each other and the development of rural life. Firstly, we have the relationship between the environment and the society. So the environment provides natural goods and services. It also provides land for the farmers to plant crops and produce their own products. In return, the rural society's actions and planning will bring different impacts regarding the environment's state and quality. So the environment serves its purpose as it is where we acquire probable crops and natural resources. Us, being members of the society, is responsible for the change of the environment. The more we care for the environment, the more chances we have in gaining resources that are better in quality. Next is the relation between the environment and the economy. The economy provides changes in landscapes and farming facilities. Environment gives or provides landscape services and natural resources that are good or are used for profit. So the economy is the provider of the changes in our landscape and farming facilities. Better equipment and proper tools can help in changing the environment and the quality of work for farmers. Then the environment is, like what I said, we grow or find resources which will then be used to gain income. Last is the relationship between the economy and the society. So rural society provides raw materials and non-agricultural sectors for the economy. The economy supply land, credit, and labor for farmers and non-farmers. It also provides opportunity for marketing and trading. So we basically run most of the economy. Trading, manufacturing, income production, and the state of the economy are the responsibilities of the people. This in turn gives us more opportunities for possible marketing and trade. The economy supply the economy's supply shape on our action course. The last thing we need to tackle on is the importance of the government. So the government provide policies to the development of agricultural sector. They provide agricultural policy, education, and extension services which will help improve farming and management skills. Policies may be implemented towards health, education, management, and social welfare. Basically, the government is the one who provides the people with access to certain sectors like public health and education. And also, they provide rules and policies, which is to keep the rural areas from utter chaos, and in turn, might help in the development of these areas. And that concludes my report on the components of the structural ecological frame of reference. Hope you all learned something today, and of course, thank you for listening.